I want you to go to your front door right now, or maybe to the floor of your closet. Look at the pile of shoes sitting there. I am willing to bet that somewhere in that pile, perhaps right on top because they are the easiest to reach, lies a pair of flip-flops. Maybe they are the cheap rubber kind you bought at the drugstore for $5. Maybe they are a more expensive leather pair. Or perhaps they are those foam clogs with the holes in them that have become so popular for gardening and taking out the trash. You wear them because they are easy. You wear them because you don't have to bend down to tie laces. You wear them because your feet swell in the summer heat, or because your back hurts too much to struggle with a shoehorn. They represent freedom and comfort. But I am here to tell you that these innocent-looking slabs of rubber are essentially wrecking balls for your body. For anyone over the age of 60, the flip-flop is not a shoe, it is a health hazard. It is destroying the architecture of your feet, it is grinding your knees into dust, and it is setting you up for a fall that could end your independence. Today we are going to have a serious, detailed conversation about the foundation of your body. We are going to look at the mechanics of walking and how a piece of footwear with no back strap completely alters the way you move. We are going to trace the line of pain from your crushed arches all the way up to your lower back. We are going to debunk the myth that soft means comfortable and explain why stability is the only thing that matters as we age. And I am going to give you the specific tests, the bend test, and the twist test, that you can perform on your shoes right now to see if they are safe to wear. By the end of this video, you will likely want to take those flip-flops and throw them straight into the garbage can, and your knees will thank you for it every single day. To understand why flip-flops are so dangerous, we have to understand the miracle of the human foot. Your foot is an engineering masterpiece. It has 26 bones, 33 joints, and over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments. It is designed to do two opposing things. It must be flexible enough to absorb shock when you land, and it must be rigid enough to act as a lever when you push off. This transition from flexible to rigid happens in a split second with every step you take. It is a complex dance. But this dance relies on one critical thing: the foot must be secure. The foot must move with the shoe, not against the shoe. When you wear a flip-flop or a backless slide, you break this relationship. Because there is nothing holding the shoe to your heel, gravity tries to pull the shoe off every time you lift your leg. Your body knows this. Your brain senses that the shoe is falling off. So, it engages a subconscious reflex. You curl your toes. You grip the little rubber thong or the sole of the shoe with your toes to keep it attached to your foot. You might not even realize you are doing it. It is a micro-movement. But imagine doing a bicep curl with your toes thousands of times a day. This toe gripping has devastating consequences. First, it causes the tendons on the top of your foot to shorten and tighten. Over time, this leads to hammer toes. Your toes become permanently bent and curled, rubbing against the tops of your other shoes, causing corns and sores. But more importantly, when your toes are gripping, they cannot push off properly. You lose the propulsive power of your stride. Because you can't push off, you change the way you walk. You stop taking long, confident strides where your heel strikes first and you roll through to the toe. Instead, you start to shuffle. You take shorter steps. You drag your feet slightly to keep the slide underneath you. This shuffling gait is the enemy of longevity. It ruins your posture. It prevents your glute muscles from firing. And crucially, it makes you a prime candidate for tripping. If you are shuffling along in a shoe that extends an inch beyond your toes, all it takes is one uneven sidewalk crack or the edge of a rug to catch the front of that flip-flop. The shoe folds under, and down you go. For a senior, a fall is not just a bruise, it is a life-altering event. Let's talk about the arch. The arch of your foot is like a suspension bridge. It is held up by a thick band of tissue called the plantar fascia. This tissue runs from your heel to your toes. When you wear a flip-flop, you are walking on a completely flat surface with zero support. The suspension bridge collapses. Every time you step down, your arch flattens out aggressively. This stretches the plantar fascia to its breaking point. It is like pulling a rubber band until it starts to fray. This leads to plantar fasciitis. If you have ever stepped out of bed in the morning and felt a searing pain in your heel, like you stepped on a shard of glass, you know this misery. That is your plantar fascia screaming. It is inflamed. It is covered in microtears. And wearing flip-flops is the #1 way to keep that injury alive. You are denying your foot the structural support it needs to heal. You are walking on a pancake when you need a cradle. But the damage doesn't stop at the foot. We have to talk about the kinetic chain. This is the concept that everything in the body is connected. Your foot bone is connected to your ankle bone, which is connected to your shin bone, and so on. If the foundation is wobbly, the house shakes. When you wear unsupportive, flat rubber shoes, your foot tends to roll inward. This is called over-pronation. When your foot rolls inward, your tibia, the shin bone, twists inward. Now, follow that twist up the leg. Where does it go? It goes to the knee. The knee is a hinge joint. It is designed to bend forward and backward. It is not designed to twist. But when your foot collapses in a flip-flop, it forces the knee to torque. This puts immense uneven pressure on the inside of the knee joint. It grinds the meniscus. It wears away the cartilage. Many seniors who suffer from chronic knee pain and arthritis think it is just old age. They take supplements, they get shots, but they keep wearing the flip-flops. They don't realize that every step they take is physically twisting the knee joint against its will. You cannot fix the knee if you don't fix the foot. Let's go even higher. When the knees knock inward, the hips have to adjust. The femur, thigh bone, rotates internally. This changes the angle of your pelvis. It tilts the pelvis forward. This compresses the lower back. So, that nagging lower back pain you have while standing in the kitchen or walking the dog, that might not be a back problem. That might be a flip-flop problem. You have disrupted the alignment of your entire skeleton because you wanted to avoid tying your shoes. Now, I want to address the Crocs debate. Many of you love your foam clogs. They are wide, they are soft, and they accommodate bunions. And yes, they are slightly better than a thin rubber flip-flop because they have a wider base. However, unless you are wearing them in sport mode, with the strap behind the heel, they are still a slide. Your toes still have to grip. And more importantly, they are often too soft. There is a misconception in the senior community that softer is better. We look for shoes that feel like marshmallows. We think cushioning equals comfort. But this is a trap. Imagine trying to walk across a mattress. It is soft, yes, but is it stable? No. You wobble. Your muscles have to work 10 times harder to keep you upright. When you wear a shoe that is too squishy, your foot is constantly hunting for stability. This fatigues the muscles in your ankles and legs. For a senior with balance issues, a marshmallow shoe dulls the sensory feedback from the ground. Your brain can't tell exactly what is under your foot because the foam is absorbing all the information. You need a shoe that is firm but supportive, not a cloud that disconnects you from the earth. We also need to talk about the material. Rubber and plastic do not breathe. Flip-flops and clogs are sweat traps. For a diabetic senior, this is dangerous. Moisture leads to maceration, the skin gets white and soggy. Soggy skin breaks down easily. A blister forms. Because of the open nature of the shoe, debris, little rocks, sticks, glass, can easily get in. If you have neuropathy, numbness, in your feet, you might cut your foot on a rock or get a blister from the rubber strap and not even feel it until it becomes an infected ulcer. Diabetic foot care guidelines are very strict: never go barefoot, and never wear open-toed shoes without protection. A flip-flop violates every rule of diabetic safety. Let's look at the trip hazard in more detail. As we age, we naturally lift our feet less high. We shuffle a bit more. The front edge of a flip-flop or a slide extends about half an inch beyond your toes. It is a floppy, rubber lip. When you walk, that lip can droop down. If you are walking on carpet, or transition from tile to a rug, or walk on an uneven sidewalk, that rubber lip catches. Because the shoe is not secured to your heel, the shoe stops, but you keep going. Your foot slides out of the shoe, or the shoe folds under. This is a classic mechanical fall. These falls often result in wrist fractures, from trying to catch yourself, or hip fractures. It is a high price to pay for ventilation. So, what is the solution? Am I telling you to wear heavy, laced-up boots in the middle of July? No. I am telling you to upgrade your footwear to something that respects your anatomy. You can still wear sandals. You can still have cool feet. But you need to follow the 3 rules of the sandal. Rule number 1, the back strap. This is non-negotiable. The shoe must be attached to your heel. It can be a Velcro strap, a buckle, or a stiff heel cup. When you have a back strap, your toes can relax. They don't have to grip. You can push off with your entire foot. The shoe becomes an extension of your body, not an accessory you are dragging along. Rule number 2, arch support. The footbed of the sandal should not be flat. It should rise up to meet your arch. It should have a deep heel cup that cradles the fat pad of your heel. Brands like Vionic, Birkenstock, the ones with back straps, or Ortho feet are designed by podiatrists. They look like sandals, but they act like orthotics. They keep your knee straight. They stop the pronation. Rule number 3, the bend and twist test. Before you buy a shoe, pick it up. Try to fold it in half like a taco. It should bend at the ball of the foot, where your toes bend, but it should not bend in the middle of the arch. If you can fold the shoe in half easily, throw it away. It offers no support. Next, try to wring it out like a wet dish rag. Twist the toe and heel in opposite directions. A good shoe should be stiff. It should resist twisting. If it twists into a spiral, it will not protect your knees from torque. A flip-flop fails both of these tests miserably. I want to speak directly to the gardeners for a moment. I know you love your clogs for the garden. They hose off easily. But gardening is actually a high-stress activity for feet. You are walking on uneven ground, you are digging, putting pressure on the sole, you are squatting. Doing this in unstable foam shoes is a recipe for an ankle sprain. If you must wear a waterproof shoe, look for a garden shoe that has a full heel back and a stiffer sole. Or, wear an old pair of sneakers that you don't mind getting dirty. Your stability in the garden is crucial. And what about inside the house? This is where most of the damage happens. Many people come home, take off their real shoes, and then walk around in flimsy slippers or flip-flops on hardwood floors for 5 hours. Or they go barefoot. Walking barefoot on hard, man-made surfaces like tile and wood is terrible for the aging fat pad on the bottom of your feet. We lose that natural cushioning as we age. We need house shoes. These should be a dedicated pair of supportive sandals or slip-on shoes, with a back, that you only wear inside. They should have a hard sole, not a soft, fuzzy slipper sole. Support doesn't clock out when you get home from work. Your feet need it continuously. Let's discuss the transition. If you have been wearing flip-flops for 40 years, your feet have adapted to them. They have flattened out. If you suddenly switch to a high-arch orthotic sandal, it might hurt at first. It feels like a golf ball is in your shoe. This is normal. You are realigning a structure that has collapsed. You need to break them in slowly. Wear the good shoes for an hour a day, then 2, then 3. Give your tendons time to lengthen and your joints time to realign. But do not go back to the flip-flops. There is a specific injury I see often called flip-flop tendonitis. It is pain right on the top of the foot or the front of the shin. This is caused by the muscles having to lift the heavy rubber shoe with every step to keep it from dragging. It creates a repetitive strain injury. If you have shin splints and you haven't been running, check your slippers. Check your sandals. The weight of the shoe hanging off your toes is the culprit. I also want to touch on the aesthetics. I know, orthotic shoes used to be ugly. They used to look like medical shoes. That is not true anymore. The industry has realized that baby boomers want to look good. You can find stylish, leather sandals with arch support and back straps that look great with a summer dress or linen pants. You do not have to sacrifice style for safety. But even if you did, isn't being able to walk without pain more beautiful than a trendy shoe? Let's visualize your future. Imagine two paths. Path A, you keep wearing the flip-flops. Your arches continue to collapse. Your knees grind inward a little more every day. Your balance gets slightly worse as your toes curl into claws. One day, you catch the edge of the rug. You fall. You break a hip. Your mobility is compromised forever. Path B, you go to your closet today. You take the flip-flops and put them in the bin. You invest in a pair of sturdy, strapped sandals with a cork or firm rubber footbed. You start walking with a heel-to-toe gait. Your toes relax. Your knees align over your ankles. Your back pain subsides. You feel grounded. You feel stable. You can walk the boardwalk, the garden, and the grocery store with confidence. The choice is literally under your feet. I want to address the cost. Yes, good sandals cost more than $5 flip-flops. A good pair might cost $80 or $100. But what is the cost of a knee replacement? What is the cost of physical therapy for plantar fasciitis? What is the cost of a hip surgery? Cheap shoes are the most expensive things you can buy because you pay for them with your health. Investing in your footwear is investing in your insurance policy against pain. If you are just going to the beach, and you are walking on soft sand for 20 feet, fine. Wear the flip-flops. Sand is forgiving, it molds to your foot. But do not wear them to walk on the boardwalk. Do not wear them to walk around the mall. Concrete is the enemy. Flip-flops provide zero shock absorption against concrete. The shock wave travels straight up your leg to your lower back. Let's recap the checklist for a safe senior sandal. Heel strap, keeps the shoe on, stops the toe clawing. Contoured footbed, arch support and a heel cup to align the leg. Firm sole, passes the bend and twist test. Not a noodle. Wide forefoot, no pinching the toes. Adjustability, Velcro or buckles to accommodate swelling during the day. You have walked thousands of miles in your lifetime. Your feet have carried you through careers, through raising children, through travels. They have done a good job. They deserve to be supported now. They deserve a cradle, not a slab. So, I challenge you. After this video ends, go do the inventory. Look at your summer shoes. Be ruthless. If it bends in half, it goes in the trash. It feels wasteful, I know. But keeping them is a waste of your physical potential. We often think of health as diet and exercise. We forget that it is also mechanics. It is physics. If you build a house on a swamp, it sinks. If you walk on a sponge, you sink. Build your house on a rock. Give your body a solid platform. Stop shuffling. Stop gripping. Stop hurting. Throw away the flip-flops. Strap in, stand tall, and walk into your next decade with the stability and strength you deserve. Your knees, your hips, and your back are waiting for you to make the switch. Do it today.